In this episode, we dive into what the term dark night of the soul means, and I share 6 lessons that I learned from it. Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to ditch the outdated beliefs, release the blocks, and fully embrace your sovereignty so you can confidently expand to allow more love, joy, and aligned success in your life. I am Niajae, your conscious accountability partner, reminding you that abundance is your birthright. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? Whew, are you ready? Today, we are going to talk about what it means to be in a dark night of the soul. So, I know that I have mentioned this in a previous episode briefly in an interview, and we were talking about the dark night of the soul, but I'm going to dive a little deeper into it, share my experience with my dark night of the soul, and 6 beautiful lessons that came out of it. So, first, let me just say, new office, who dis? So, if you are listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and you're not watching the video, I am in my beautiful new office. And I also have on some beautiful new amethyst earrings. So, you definitely want to check out the video on YouTube so you can see what I have going on because it's fabulous. All right, let me just say it feels really good to be in my own space. It feels really good to laugh and get back to my bubbly, silly self because this topic is pretty deep and I've gone through some really tough times lately. But the beauty in it is every time we go through a challenge, it is strengthening us. It is giving us wisdom and lessons that we need to learn in order to step into our power and sovereignty, in order for us to live our purpose and really tap into our passions and allow the pleasure in. So we have to go through, and let me not say we have to, because some people have it easy and then they have guilt around the fact that they have it easy when some people have it challenging, but that's their journey. And everyone has a journey of something that they have to overcome in order to fully step into their power. So, we're going to talk about the dark night of the soul. And if you are like, what is that? The phrase dark night of the soul is often used informally to describe an extremely difficult and painful period in one's life. For example, after the death of a loved one, the breakup of a marriage, or the diagnosis of a life threatening illness. So, basically, the way I would describe the dark night of the soul is when everything that you know about life is being stripped away from you, stripped away. Your identity, things that you felt made you you. And you're looking around life and you're like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. I'm putting explicit on on this episode because I am going to curse. So if cursing bothers you or you have some little children around, you may want to listen with your earbuds to this one. So basically, you're in this space where life seems unrecognizable, and you're like, holy shit, how is this my life? What is life right now? And that feeling where things feel very scary because it feels unknown and it feels uncomfortable and it feels painful, and you don't know how you're going to get out of that space because you've been stripped of everything and nothing seems comfortable. So I find that my dark night of the soul, how did it start? Oh my goodness. I'm going to go through the series of events that happened in my life. So I really like this podcast to be evergreen, so where you can listen to it 5, 10 years from now and you're still going to gain something. But I do want to make a reference to a period of time right now, but the lessons will still be able to be applied years from now. So right now we just went through a pandemic. So we went through COVID, and with COVID, with the quarantine, it impacted my business massively. And I had this beautiful, gorgeous place, downtown St. Pete, like 5 minutes from the water, gorgeous, gorgeous place. My rooftop had a view of the water on one side and a view of the city on the other side. I had a beautiful place that had floor to ceiling glass in the bedroom. So I got the beautiful view that faced the sunset. Like, it was amazing and I loved it. And if you know me, you know I loved my place, the rooftop pool, the lobby with the grand piano. I loved my place. So when COVID happened, I had to get really serious with myself about my finances. Now, entrepreneurship, everything is very up and down. So it was an opportunity for me to take a really good, honest look at my finances, at my debt, at my income, at my budgeting, etc. And the reality is, I couldn't keep that place. Like, if I'm just going to be really blunt, couldn't keep that place. So I'm like, okay, giving up the place, no problem, because I was in a relationship and we decided to move in together. So I'm used to my way of life. I've lived alone since I was 18. So I'm very set in my ways. So I move in with my partner who just has a bachelor pad. We're going to leave it there. And the first thing that triggered, I feel like, this dark night of the soul is my surroundings. Like, I'm someone who takes a lot of pride in my home. Like, I value home feeling a certain way. And with me moving around a lot as a child, so I told this story, but if you're listening, like if you're a new listener, in 12 years of grade school, I went to 11 different schools. Just in high school alone, 4 years of high school, I went to three different high schools in three different states. So I've moved around a lot. So already moving is a trigger for me. So let me speed up the story. I tell really long winded stories. So that's the first thing. I looked around and I realized, like, this doesn't feel like my life. This doesn't feel like my home. And that was very unsettling for me. And moving already being a trigger. And I also attach so much of my identity to my place. I lived in this beautiful, luxurious, glamorous place. So me not being in that place actually made me feel less glamorous. It made me feel less fabulous because my home didn't feel fabulous to me. So that was the first thing. I just felt like, okay, I think I'm going through a dark night of the soul because my life just really seems unrecognizable. So then we moved out of that place and we got a place together because we were finishing out the lease there, and then we got a place together. So then it was adjusting, new relationship, like adjusting to someone else's lifestyle, taking a little bit of them and a little bit of you and making it blend. So that was a process in itself. And then fast forward, my car breaks down. So I had an old car. It was a Charger that I had like custom painted because I used to sing. So when I did music, I wanted to be like rock star status. So it was like custom painted, this like pinkish purple color. So it's me when I'm coming. So I had a lot of emotional attachment to that car because it was a custom paint job and it reminded me of my music days and it reminded me of the artist that I am. So that was a little emotional. So now, new place, new car. Then fast forward a little bit more, I started going through a conscious uncoupling with my partner. And just because I think, like, so, okay, if you don't know what conscious uncoupling is, it's a book and it's a framework. It's a process, a 5-step process that you can go through to make sure that you're doing everything you can to stay together. And if you realize at the end of this process that it's not working, you can decide to consciously uncouple. So the way that I would describe a conscious uncoupling is two individuals that have decided that they're not a good fit for each other, but they still care about each other. They still love each other and they want to hold space and support each other as they separate. So basically leaving the situation better than what you came into it. So sitting down, having a conversation. Okay, what are your goals? What are your goals? How can I support you in this? How can I support you in this? So you're not just like splitting and feeling like you have to pick up all these broken pieces. So consciously uncoupling, and then my fur baby transitioned. So I've done a lot of crying. I'm not going to cry. Not going to cry. So I had an 18-year-old Yorkie that I had since I was 18. Don't do the math on that. And so with my new fur baby, so I got another one about 5 years ago, and I assumed that I had at least another 10 years with her. It was completely unexpected, and we still don't have a reason as to like why and what happened. So that was really hard because I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming. So that, and then actually, this happened and then that happened. So the place that I was running my sound therapy business out of, we wind up coming to the decision that it wasn't a good fit. Like our vision, and it wasn't aligned. We'll just say that it wasn't aligned. So now finding a new location to operate my sound therapy business out of, and then my dog died. So what's crazy about it all is like I felt like I was in about a 3 month period. I felt like I was in this like dark night of the soul, and then I'm like, whew, finally out of it. Things are finally coming back together, and then bam, 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 like three things back to back that just like crushed, crushed me, like crushed. So I was like, WTF? Like, what is going on? I literally feel like in the last 6 months, everything that I know is being stripped from me. So, my place, my relationship, my dog, my car, the place that I did business at, home shifted in all the moving. So, it brought me to this place where I'm like, why is this happening? What am I meant to learn from this? And the way that I would explain it is when you are completely stripped away from everything that you know, it is this, it's a death. Like you are literally grieving your old life. Everything you knew around you is gone. And it's a rebirth and an opportunity for you to build from scratch, to be the person that you are destined to be, to be the highest version of yourself, to live to your full potential. But sometimes we're so caught up in different things. We're caught up in material world, we're caught up in programming, we're caught up in blocks and insecurities. And when you literally strip everything away, you have no choice but to surrender. You have no choice but to surrender and be like, all right, universe, my plan isn't working. So let's just figure out what your plan is. I surrender. What do I do? And when I just was like, okay, I literally like, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. That is when the universe just like started making things happen. Started making things happen. I got a new car. I love my new car. Okay. So my partner, technically my ex now, we're in a good place. It's a little rocky, but we both have an understanding of how we want to be towards each other. Do we slip up and fall into ego and pride and resentment? Yes, but we bring ourselves back to a peaceful place, which is beautiful. So I would highly recommend anyone that has curiosity about consciously uncoupling, go get the book. It's amazing, it's powerful. And as far as my fur baby, it was an opportunity for me to really honor the beliefs that I've adapted over the years. I don't believe that when someone transitions, they're gone. I believe that they transition into pure consciousness. And if I believe she's pure consciousness, that means that that she's still here. She's still in my heart. She's still watching over me. And that thought is comforting. If I'm meditating or if I'm doing some type of ceremony, I can access that pure consciousness and I can access that love. So to me, the dark night of the soul is stripping away all of the layers of crap, and is getting back to like your true essence, your beliefs, your strength, who you are at your core. So, I identified as like my identity was wrapped up in my place, and I don't have this place anymore. So are you not still fabulous? Are you not still like glamorous or luxurious? Like, you don't need a place to be glamorous. You don't need a place to be luxurious. Like, what I learned from that process is I need to exude all of those things from within. I want to exude glamour and luxury no matter what. Even if I'm in sweats, even if I, am just walking down the street and it has nothing to do with where I live. I want to have that vibrance that people are like, okay, like it's an energy, excuse me, it's an energy that comes from within. And the only way that I would have been able to really tap into it internally is if the external things were stripped away from me. I just got chills and I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm trying so hard, you guys, not to like cry. But I really want you to I really want you to like think about what you attach your self-worth to, what you attach your identity to. So for the entrepreneurs that are like, oh, I'm making all this money. If all of that money was gone, would you still feel valuable? If you're someone who is just like gorgeous or super attractive, if a guy has like freaking six pack abs or whatever, and you were in a situation where, let's just say, the doctor told you like you cannot work out and you gained 30 pounds or whatever, would you still feel sexy? Can you find that sexiness from within? Can you find that value from within? Can you find that vibrance and beauty from within? So fucking powerful. All right, so let's get to the 6 lessons. Let's get to the 6 lessons. So, I am someone, my thought process is like every single challenge that I go through is teaching me something. So I lean in every single morning. I am doing my morning routine, and every single sound therapy session I do with intention, and I'm always leaning in. What am I meant to learn here? How am I supposed to grow from this situation? So I have 6 lessons that came out of my dark night of the soul. So, number one is we are resilient as fuck. We are resilient AF. Okay. So, one quote that has been coming up a lot for me is we can do hard things. Life has felt really freaking hard lately. And for a lot of people, and I mean, hello, we just went through a pandemic. So, like, it makes sense. It makes sense. We just went through a pandemic and worldwide. So, no matter where you live, no matter if you had a ton of money or you had a little bit of money, a lot of people went through a hard time. And if you're in an energy space and you are empathic in any, I think we're all empathic, but like we all are empaths, like we feel energy, period. But some people tap into it more, some people feel it more because they're more in tune with that clear ability. So the quote, we can do hard things, has been coming up a lot for me because it's like life feels really hard. And that's been my response to people like, how are you? I'm like, life is really hard right now, but we can do hard things. Like life will be hard, but we're strong and resilient AF. I'm going to try to minimize my cursing a little bit, but seriously, like sometimes we don't know how strong we are until we have to dig deep and keep pushing when we feel like giving up, when we fall on our face, when we feel like there is no way, there is no other choice. We have to dig deep and know that we are abundant beings. There are infinite possibilities, endless opportunities, infinite. So, really diving into that and knowing, okay, I don't see a way. So here's where I am going to meditate and try to access my higher self. Here's where I'm going to do a sound therapy session and try to access a higher level of consciousness so I can have an eagle eye view on this situation because I'm so deep into it that I can't see beyond what's right in front of me. And when you can do that, you will see that one, you are strong and resilient. And two, there is always a way. Always, always.
What do you do for energetic self care? Life challenges us. However, we have tools to help us navigate the transitions, release trapped emotions, maintain positive energy, and expand to allow more joy and excitement. Abundant and Aligned Society is an energetic self care accountability program that helps you go from stress and anxiety, fight or flight, to operating from a place of abundance and alignment. Go to niajae.com/society for more information and start vibrating higher.
All right. So the second lesson is the loss of identity creates a blank canvas for you to step into your fullest potential and be the best version of yourself. So, me having the things that were tied to my identity and self worth stripped away was a beautiful opportunity for this blank canvas. And now, me to say, like, okay, I am vibrant and glamorous and luxurious even without that place. And then maybe I'm like, you know what, doesn't you could go through a process and you're like, maybe it doesn't matter to me to be luxurious or glamorous. But I'm like, no, have you met me? I am luxurious and glamorous even without that place. And I exude it because it comes from within. So when you have all of those things stripped away that you have tied your identity and self-worth to, and they're stripped away and you can get back to it because it's coming from the inside, that is powerful. That is powerful. So when you feel like something that made you you is stripped away, it's an invitation for you to pull it out from within, to activate it within. And then energetically, everything else around you will match up because it's coming from whoo, you guys, this is powerful. Okay. Number 3 is this is a good one. Embrace the polarity of life. Embrace the polarity of life. So, polarity is another word that has been coming up a lot for me. I have had situations where, on one hand, I am so super excited about something. And then on the other hand, I'm grieving. I've been like ridiculously joyful. And then I felt really sad. So here's the thing, society will lead you to believe, oh, you can't be happy and sad at the same time. And I say this like, we are dynamic beings. Do not let anyone limit what you can feel. We are dynamic beings that are capable of a wide variety of emotions, and you can feel two emotions simultaneously. And just because I'm excited about something does not diminish my grief. Just because I'm grieving doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to be excited. So, really embracing the polarity of life. And let me just tell you, I used to be someone who would create boxes. I'd have a little like bullet journal and I'd create boxes and I'd rate the different areas of my life. So, like, how's my love life? How's my business? How's my health? Like, I would rate myself and I wanted to get everything high. Like, if I'm rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I want it to be between an 8 and 10 in all the areas of life. And if one was falling off, then I'm like, okay, let me focus on this one to get it up. And then, you know, so one thing that I realize is it's really difficult to have everything going well. It's possible, definitely possible, but it's difficult because life happens. The older you get, the more unfortunate things happen. People get sick, people pass. Like, it is a part of life. So I think with social media, we have a society that has painted this picture that's like, oh my God, my relationship's great, my business is great, I'm looking great, like everything is fabulous. And so we're trying to, like, we've set the bar so high that we're trying to achieve this thing that we feel is normal on social media, when the reality is, like, sometimes they're not saying the things that are hard. They're only saying, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, but then this could be falling apart, but we're just going to leave that out. So, like, the reality is, like, life is like you have to embrace the polarity of life. Like, period. You have to embrace the polarity of life. Like, sometimes people have really freaking great businesses, but then they're kind of unhealthy and they're struggling with, who knows? Like, these days, like, gut issues and autoimmune disease. And I had a friend that's like 30 that just, went through breast cancer. Like, the reality is, there's going to be times where there is a massive polarity in life, and we have to embrace it. Just because you're sad about this or grieving this doesn't mean that you can't be happy about this. Just because you're happy about this, it doesn't diminish the fact that you have some other stuff that's going on. All right. It's powerful, you guys. Like, when you really just like let that sit in and you don't resist it, it makes things a little easier to deal with. Not easy, but easier to deal with when you're not resisting the pain. You Because if you try to suppress it, it turns so I'm happy about opening my new office and business, so I'm not going to pay attention to the grief that I'm feeling. No, if I suppress that grief, it turns into a trapped emotion. Trapped emotions turns into physical ailments. Physical ailments turns into illness. So you have to honor the grief or the pain or the challenging, uncomfortable feeling, and you also have to honor the excitement. Don't allow the grief to completely diminish the excitement either. So, learning to navigate all of our emotions, we are dynamic beings capable of a wide variety of emotions. Okay. Number 4 is stability comes from within. This one is so powerful for me because I was always craving stability and security because I didn't feel like I had that as a child, moving around so much. So moving was always a trigger for me because I'm like, oh my God, my surroundings are changing. And it triggered that inner child in me that was always scared of what was to come and scared to leave my old life behind and my old friends behind. So I had to start to do some work around that, and and realize that stability comes from within, and be so grounded in who I am that no matter what my surroundings are, I am solid and secure in myself and my sovereignty. And that was such a powerful lesson for me. And I'm still working on it. So I'm not going to act like I got it down. But it's a continuous thing that I have been working on since I've started all of the moving around, really grounding deep into who I am, my values, and my level of integrity, and maintaining that no matter what my surroundings are. And that has been really, really powerful. All right. Number five is let's normalize therapy. You guys, I just got a therapist, and I'm not talking about a coach. Coaches are great. Coaches are great. But when you are going through a dark night of the soul, having a clinical therapist, a trauma informed, licensed therapist is a really beautiful thing. I think that a lot of people associate therapy with like someone that's crazy or someone that has severe problems, but it's preventative care. So you don't go to a really dark place. It's easy to do these days. So I believe, because I'm very spiritual and holistic, I believe that having a spiritual or holistic minded clinical therapist is a really amazing thing. So let's normalize it. Let's be able to say, my therapist said, or I was talking to my therapist without it feeling bad and without someone looking like, oh, like, let's normalize it. I really value mental and emotional health. And that is why I do the work that I do with sound therapy. And I've gravitated towards that area because I think that these days mental and emotional health is at an all-time low. So I believe in therapy. And I believe that sound healing and coaching is great, but if you are experiencing some type of heavy emotion when it comes to trauma, when it comes to the dark night of the soul, like when it comes to grief, when it comes to any type of mental, physical, emotional abuse, like therapy is amazing. And I think that something like sound healing or some type of holistic healing modality is a great addition to therapy, but you want to work with someone that is trauma informed. There's a lot of people that are going a certain route. Like, I'm just going to give you an example, ayahuasca, and it's opening up trauma, but there's no integration and support after. So that's where a therapist comes in. You want to do ayahuasca? Sure. Go do ayahuasca and then go and talk to your therapist about it so they can help guide you through the integration of what came up for you. Like, don't open up the wounds with someone who's not equipped to take you through the integration and healing process. All right, number 6 is you have to love yourself unconditionally. This is last, but definitely not least. This is probably the most important one. You have to love yourself unconditionally. When you go through the dark night of the soul, you are going to feel all types of blocks, insecurities, doubt, hatred, judgment. You're going to feel it all. But you have to love yourself unconditionally. And if you're feeling like, how can I love myself right now when I don't have this gorgeous place? How could I love myself right now when I'm going through a breakup? How could I love myself right now when I just lost my fur baby, the one being that loved me unconditionally? You have to dig deep. You have to dig deep and find that unconditional love. And for someone who went through some type of health situation, how could I love myself when I am sick and I'm not well? You have to find a way. You have to find a way. You have to find self acceptance. You have to find forgiveness for yourself. For yourself. And also, like, if it is someone else involved, like if you are going through a conscious uncoupling, forgive the other person. It is powerful, so powerful. You have to have compassion, compassion for yourself and compassion for others. I know that there were times where I've probably lashed out at people in my life because I was going through a hard time. It's not right. I'm not making excuses for it. So I remind myself constantly to be gentle with myself and with others, to have compassion for others, and to also have self compassion. You have to remind yourself of these things. And that is why having a morning routine, a self care morning routine to ground you is so important, especially if you feel like you are experiencing a dark night of the soul. And As far as the unconditional love goes, knowing that no matter what your external circumstances appear to be, you are a sovereign, miraculous being. You are an abundant being. You are a divine being. And this process is literally stripping things away so you can step into your power. So if you can surrender and say, okay, what am I meant to learn here? Universe, where are you taking me? Higher self, where are you taking me? Where are you guiding me to? And how can I be best prepared? I'm surrendering to your process. Talk to me. I'm here listening. We all have different clair abilities. So some people see things, some people feel things, some people sense things, some people, see, hear, all the different clair abilities. Communicate with me. Active listening for your intuition. How is your intuition communicating with you what the next steps should be for you in your life? Because every dark night of the soul is guiding you somewhere. It's guiding you to your highest self. And I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to our like human brain because you're just like, okay, look, if it's this hard to get there, maybe I don't want to get there, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it is worth it because let me tell you, everything that I have gone through, minus my fur baby, I have no explanation for that other than just like she is just pure consciousness and her love is here with me, and that's it. Other than that, but everything else that I've gone through in my life, I feel like it's been for a reason, you know? I mean, I wind up giving up my place and I moved to Tampa, and now I have a business, a brick and mortar business in Tampa. Like the universe literally, it went through a whole lot of sifting and sorting, but it went through it to lead me exactly where I am meant to be, opening up my third brick and mortar business, okay, with this beautiful office right here. Let me give you a little sneak peek. Oh, a little sneak peek. You see my fur babies over there. So everything that we go through is shifting to put us exactly where we're meant to be. I was attached to my car, but it was meant for me to have a new car. Period. My car was not dependable. I was attached to this old thing that was giving me problems. Are you ready to give up the things that are giving you problems to step into something that's going to be dependable, secure, and stable so you can live to your fullest potential? That is the question. It is literally the craziest thing to me how we cling to old versions of ourselves. We cling to old paradigms. We cling to toxic patterns and habits. We cling to places and cars and people that are no longer serving us, and it's stopping us from stepping into our power and sovereignty. And so my understanding is when you go through a dark night of the soul, it is literally stripping everything away so it can build on a solid blank canvas. And if you can surrender and say, you know what, I surrender and I am ready to release anything that is no longer serving me. Watch how the universe shifts everything in your life. It is crazy. It all happened so fast, it made my head spin. But let me tell you, I have a new car that is dependable and a smooth ride. I have a home now that feels really good. I'm in a good place with my partner ex person. And I'm at peace with what happened with Diva. It was hard, but I'm at peace with it, and I know that her consciousness is like, and I've done, some meditations and ceremonies where I've been able to access it, and she is just this beautiful just ray of light that I know is always going to be there for me. And I have pictures of her everywhere my office, at home, like literally everywhere. So that love, that unconditional love is not going anywhere. And everything with my business, I am opening my own meditation studio. So by the time you listen to this, it will be open pretty much. But I'm opening my own meditation studio, my third brick and mortar business. This is a big deal. This is a huge, huge deal for me. And I spoke a little bit about this on social media. My last studio that I sold before I moved to Florida, I said I never open another brick and mortar business. And it wasn't that I didn't want to open another brick and mortar business. I didn't want to open a business where there was a cap on how much money I can make. So with the studio, if you add up like all the classes you can have at capacity and how much you can charge per person per class, and you do that math for the whole year, I looked at that number and I wasn't happy with it. So with my meditation studio now, I have a hybrid business model where it's half online, half in person. So that is going to open up so many doors for me to serve my community and to also connect with people across the world. And it is freaking amazing. And I'm so excited. And when I think about everything that has happened to me in the last 6 months, it literally makes my head spin. Like it was the twilight zone, how fast everything was shifting in my life. But it's because I got really clear on what I wanted. And the universe is like, all right, if you say you want this, we gotta do some work. We gotta do some work. And it did like this. And then everything literally is different. Everything is different in my life right now. I'm like, who am I? No, I'm just kidding. I'm still the same person because I am so grounded in who I am, what I stand for, what I value, and my boundaries. I am still the same person because I had to find that security within. I had to find my inner fabulousness. So no matter what my surroundings look like, I was still showing up fabulous. It was a little challenging. It was a little challenging, but I persevered because what was number 1? We are resilient as fuck. Okay? Okay. So M&Ms that is my episode for the Dark Night of the Soul. Now, I want to say that if someone has experienced much deeper trauma than what I've experienced, because life-threatening accidents or illnesses, I don't want to feel like I'm taking this lightly. I understand how challenging life can be. And that is why I say I think that we need to normalize therapy. Getting someone that is trauma informed is so important because they can help guide you through the trauma. They can help bring you back to a place of inner peace, and then coupling it with a beautiful healing modality. Obviously, sound therapy would be my first pick. It'll help you see the light when you feel like there is no light. It will help you find a way when you feel there is no way. So I'm not making light of it because I know people have gone through way worse things than I have. And I just want to honor wherever you are, wherever you may be, wherever you was, and just say, like, I see you, I feel you. And you are not alone. And there's so many amazing holistic spiritual therapists out there that can help guide you. And then you have beautiful healing modalities and facilities like the one that I am opening to really offer support and hold space as you go through your journey. All right, you guys. If you know anyone that needs to hear this, please share this video with them. Or if you're listening on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, please share this podcast episode with them because we have to show up for each other. We have to support each other. We have to hold space and really let people know that no matter how heavy you feel like your emotions are, I'm here for you. And so that can mean the world to someone who is having a hard time. All right, I said I wasn't going to cry. I'm going to get off before I get emotional. All right, M&Ms, until next time, be decadent.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.